Hello, everyone. Today, we are going to explore the world of microorganisms. What are microorganisms, you ask? Microorganisms are tiny organisms that are too small to be seen with the naked eye. To spot them, we need a microscope. Microorganisms include bacteria, fungi, protozoa, some algae, and even viruses. Each of these tiny creatures plays a big role in the world around us, and we're going to learn all about them. So, let's dive in. Now, where do microorganisms live? Microorganisms are the ultimate survivors. They can live in all kinds of places, from super cold areas to boiling hot springs. Some like to live all by themselves, while others hang out in groups, forming colonies. And guess what? Some microorganisms even live inside other living beings, including us. Yes, that's right. They're everywhere, showing just how adaptable and versatile they are. Now, you might be wondering, are microorganisms good or bad? Well, many of them are actually super helpful to us. For example, they play a big role in making some of our favorite foods like bread and curd. They're also behind the scenes in making alcohol through fermentation. Not just that, they help decompose waste and even make medicines like antibiotics. Some special bacteria in the soil even help plants get the nitrogen they need. So, as you can see, we owe a lot to these tiny helpers. Speaking of helpers, let's talk about friendly microorganisms. These tiny buddies help us digest food, keep our immune system strong, and help our bodies absorb nutrients. They're not just in our bodies, we use them in making delicious foods through fermentation and even in making medicines. So next time you enjoy a slice of bread or a piece of cheese, remember the tiny friends that helped make them. Microorganisms aren't just personal helpers, they're big-time players in industries too. They help produce alcohol, wine, and even acetic acid on a large scale. Yeast, a type of fungus, is a star in alcohol and wine production. In medicine, antibiotics like penicillin are made from bacteria and fungi to fight off diseases. Microbes are also used to control plant diseases and are added to livestock feed. They're truly versatile, aren't they? Ever wondered how vaccines work? Well, when harmful microbes invade our body, our immune system fights back by making antibodies. Vaccines contain weakened or dead microbes that train our body to fight the real deal. Once our body knows how to defeat these invaders, it remembers and keeps us protected. Thanks to vaccines, diseases like cholera, tuberculosis, smallpox, and hepatitis can be prevented. Pretty cool, right? Microorganisms are also nature's little helpers. Some bacteria and blue-green algae can take nitrogen from the air and fix it into the soil, making it richer and better for plant growth. They also help clean up the environment by breaking down organic waste into simpler substances, reducing harmful and smelly stuff. So, they're not just good for us but for the planet too. But wait, it's not all good news. Some microorganisms can make us sick. These are called pathogens, and they can cause diseases in humans, plants, and animals. They can spread through air, water, food, or even direct contact with someone who is sick. Diseases that can pass from one person to another, like the common cold or chickenpox, are known as communicable diseases. So, it's important to stay clean and safe to keep these harmful microorganisms away. Some insects and animals act as carriers or vectors for these harmful microbes. Houseflies can pick up pathogens from garbage and animal waste and then transfer them to our food. Female mosquitoes can carry viruses like dengue or parasites that cause malaria. Not just humans, animals and plants can get sick from microorganisms too. Diseases like anthrax can affect humans and cattle, and foot-and-mouth disease is a big problem for cattle. Plants aren't safe either. Certain microbes can cause diseases that reduce crop yields. To fight these, we often use chemicals to kill the harmful microbes. Microorganisms can also be food spoilers, producing toxic substances that lead to food poisoning. That's why preserving food properly is super important. It helps keep our food safe to eat and prevents illness. Now, let's talk about methods of food preservation. Fermentation, used in foods like curd and pickles. Chemical method. Common chemicals like salt and sodium benzoate are used as preservatives in pickles and jams. Preservation by common salt. Dry salt is used to preserve meat and fish. Preservation by sugar. Sugar reduces moisture content in jams, jellies, and squashes. Preservation by oil and vinegar, used to preserve pickles and certain foods. Heat and cold treatments, boiling and refrigeration are employed to inhibit microbe growth. Storage and packing, sealed airtight packaging prevents microbial attack. Remember the helpful bacteria that make soil better for plants? Rhizobium is one such bacteria that works with leguminous plants, like pulses, to fix nitrogen. Even lightning can fix some nitrogen in the soil, but the amount of nitrogen in the atmosphere stays the same. When plants and animals die, they leave behind nitrogen compounds. Thanks to bacteria and fungi in the soil, these are broken down and turned back into simpler nitrogen compounds. Some of these are even turned back into nitrogen gas, which goes back into the atmosphere. This amazing cycle keeps the amount of nitrogen in the atmosphere stable, showing just how interconnected everything is. And that wraps up our journey into the world of microorganisms. We hope that you have understood the topic. You can now study chapter notes, watch video lectures, and solve MCQ tests of this chapter on Eduref to ensure you score well in your school exams. And that's not all, you also get amazing courses for maths, science, English, Hindi, and much more for Class 8. Thank you.